wait for it to come up on actual thing. How are we all feeling tonight, boys?
Scared.
I did not mean to do that.
Yes.
Virtual safety car.
I was oh, someone's crashed out. Oh god. Oh, it's Rocker. Oh, you what? Oh god.
Just quite a second while I start the intro thing, majig, you know. Hello and welcome to the SLR SidePOD for episode 9. This week we'll be having a very interesting topic that Rang is going to struggle at, so hopefully Clock has got some questions that will destroy him in the quiz. Of course, this week we have Steve, my co-host.
Hello.
Ranga, who is not going to talk too much tonight because there's no idea about much of the topic. We have
because it's
Clock
stupid,
as usual.
basically.
As you could hear. We do have Owen tonight, and that's about it. Usually we have about 9 people or so in the party. This week we barely have anyone. So, yeah, and someone forgot to put Driver of the Week up, so that will not be announced tonight. And, yeah, let's just get on with the topic. Of course, the Wednesday race is still going in the background.
We could probably announce
free laps in.
Driver of the Week. I think it was pretty obvious he was going to get it.
Who?
It was going to be Gareth, wasn't it? Gareth came from last. Gareth came from last to second in Div 3. I think it would have been a no-brainer personally.
Well, there you go, lads. Gareth is the driver of the week. Not a vote, just instantly driver of the week.
Yeah.
I think Steve should get co-driver of the week just for being a dickhead. I don't know why.
Being a McLaren driver. Yeah, I'll take
Being
that.
Yeah, that's it.
I'll take that mate of the week for letting him do it.
He raises the hopes of all the Steve-O fans prior to 9 PM on Saturday, and then after 9 PM on Saturday, it's just downhill. Like, there's no
It gets
It does get worse
sometimes. I can't.
yeah, there's no even curve or whatever you want to call it. There's just no maintaining of expectations. It's just always bad.
Yeah,
I've
it's
given
just
you,
always
it
downward.
goes
I've given you two
from
near
drinking with the
podiums this year.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. That's literally
That's
what
good
I'm
enough.
trying to say.
Yeah, but that's
No,
the best season.
it's not.
This is the best season by far. I think
Steve,
we're
we should have been
before
winning every race.
Oh.
Alright, lads. We'd love to talk about Steve-O. Steve-O is
Yeah,
our
we
mate.
do. Yeah, we love to talk about me.
But,
Well,
Let's move
Steve
on
has
with
some
the
history as well,
actual-
doesn't
man,
he? Maybe not in real F1.
let's
Yeah.
let's move on with the topic then, which
History, yeah.
You have some SLR history,
what a
but
start
not,
to the side pod.
not Formula 1 history, I suppose.
So if you heard Clock there, we will be going over classic drivers. This has come about because it is exactly 1 year to the day that Niki Lauda unfortunately passed away. So to commemorate Niki Lauda, we will of course be talking about the classic side of F1, where everyone says it was the best days and that nowadays is shit. So I would like to get our resident classics major for F1 to share his thoughts first, and then we will move on with everyone else. So, Clock. You knew I was going to do this. You knew I was going to do this.
Yeah.
Take it away.
I kind of expected it, but I just want to start off saying that I've... what's the word? I've lost the word. I've made a quiz in honor of Lauda this week, so it's only Lauda questions.
That's
Oh,
fine.
Ranga in the bin.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's a rip.
Rangel,
So,
just search the wiki page for Niki Lauda.
If Rangel just answer first, so he can be wrong with every question, and then the others can answer.
Yeah, we'll get the right answer.
He probably won't even have an answer, so it's... Yeah. But yeah, classic drivers, where do you even start? I've got no clue on where to start. I mean, there's so much
Well,
things.
Let's start with Lauda.
I
Start
could-
with the man himself.
Yeah, let's start with Lauda. That's where
That's
I
a
thought
great
would be
place
the
to
best
start.
way to start.
Yeah, don't talk too much about his like
history because you'll get the
Like
quiz
now,
questions.
yeah, but it's the like statistical side of him, because that will ruin the quiz.
Let's
But
talk about him as a driver then, not his
but
statistics.
but I mean, talking about Lauda, don't even need to talk about him, do it. Just if you wanna know about him, just watch the movie Rush.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the movie Rush.
I don't know if any of you have seen it, but it sounded like Steve had seen it. But that is honestly,
Yeah, it's a
it's
great
one of the
movie.
best movies ever made. Honestly, it's.
Yeah.
And you don't even need to be an F1 fan to watch it, because it's a movie, it's a Hollywood movie based on real life events. So it's based on the 1976 season in the Formula One. But I mean, there's other stuff going around. It's so dramatic with his crash and whatnot. So just
Spoilers.
talking about but everyone knew he crashed. It's not like it's a secret that Lauda had a massive crash. But
Yes, I was just having a little joke. Don't worry about it.
yeah. So if you wanna know know about Lauda a bit more, watch that movie, because you'll enjoy it. I promise
Right,
you.
just sums-
Because
it just-
it's
I
not
mean,
a
it does, it
documentary.
sums- Yeah.
It's not.
really-
It's
it sums
it's
him
a
up.
normal movie, Yeah. He's played beautifully by Daniel Brühl, whatever his name is in Austrian. And of course, Chris Hemsworth playing James Hunt as well.
Who would have thought that man could play a Britishman so perfectly?
He can play anyone.
Consider
that
he's
man.
Australian.
He can play
True.
anyone.
True. Damn. I think all of us started fantasizing about Chris Hemsworth there. The pilot.
But you did.
Just immediately went silent.
Talking about Lauda, I know. I don't know I don't know how much I know, but this close about everyone. But if it, we've all been slagging Rang off a bit for not knowing anything. But I'll just start the discussion like what do you know about him, Ranga, in terms of his achievements and stuff. Like what do the normal person know about him?
I don't know anything specifically, if I'm honest. I don't know.
Do you know how many
I know
titles he got?
I know he was very successful, and I know he won some championships. I don't know. I don't want to see
True.
I really don't.
Yeah.
That's my point.
I just know he was a very successful and well-respected driver. And just person. Yeah, that's probably as far as my knowledge goes. If I'm brutally honest with you.
Without
Fair enough, to be
spoiling the
honest.
quiz, I can tell you he's a triple world champion.
Mm-hmm.
He won the championship in 75, 77 and 84.
Right.
In
Which teams did he
84,
win then?
that will spoil the quiz, so I'm not gonna take that.
Oh, you're
Uh, in
I
eight-
know
fair
both
enough.
teams I'm pretty sure he won with. I know he was
In
involved in that
84,
incident.
In
Go on.
84, he also won the championship by half a point.
Wasn't that
Wow.
against Prost?
It was against Prost.
That spoiled the quiz.
Yeah, I saw. But I saw F1's YouTube channel posted a video earlier today about like Lauda's best races, and that race were in there when
Yeah.
he won it by half a point. So I'd recommend go watch that video after the stream to see some of his races. I think they streamed a race from him today as well, if I'm not
think they
mistaken.
did.
Maybe it was two. But anyway, he was a remarkable man. But to not spoil the quiz too much, let's just move on to other classic drivers.
Yes.
We'll come back to Lauda more.
I
It just
suggest
becomes a
we
bit of a
start off at the
hard
beginning
discussion.
of really F1. Sort of go for like Fangio. Start with Fangio.
Let's make this a kind of a common thing. We start a discussion with like what does the normal fan know? Rangad,
Yeah.
what's your knowledge about the 50s in F1? How many drivers can you mention that raced over the 50s? or got
the
championships or
50s.
anything. Just anything.
The 50s.
The 50s,
Mate,
yeah.
my knowledge of F1. I mean, I might know the odd thing here or there, but I have obviously respect where the sport's
Yeah,
come
but
from
that's
and how
what
the
makes
sport
it
has
interesting.
developed. You know, I mean, each to their own, mate. Each to their own. Everyone's different. Everyone's got different opinions and what makes things interesting for different people. I'd say, in terms of like, obviously I'll know the names and some like facts or details here and there. Like not a lot, but yeah, I don't know. I'm able to know the names.
Give me some names.
It depends.
Just say
It
some.
depends who you want to know.
Just say some great drivers. Just say some great drivers from the 50s. I want to see what you
I
have.
couldn't tell you in terms of the 50s, and
I literally mentioned one 5 minutes ago.
I know that I know people's names, but I just don't know what era they raced in or.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Okay, I see.
I could name
Fair
you some
enough.
drivers, but I just couldn't tell you when they raced. I could, I just wouldn't have a clue. I know, obviously, like, I mean, it's probably going to sound stupid, but to the average person who doesn't know a lot about F1, I know, obviously, like, so Sterling Moss was a legend and raced a while back, but I couldn't tell you if it was in the 50s or the 60s or 70s or the 80s, whatever.
It was definitely not the 80s. It was the 50s. Possibly the 60s as well. I'm not sure when he stopped.
Yeah, you
really.
did listen to this.
I know
I think it was 68.
Funny fact about him, everyone probably heard it, but you know when he was it 58 when Mike Hawthorne got a penalty. They were basically Hawthorne and Sterling Moss were fighting for the championship in '58. Yeah, Hawthorne in I think it was the penultimate race or a race before, he got a penalty for something, whatever. And since there was no television and the races weren't broadcasted the way they are today, obviously, there was no video of the incident, so the stewards, I don't know how they came to the conclusion, but they gave him a penalty. But it ended with Sterling Moss coming into the steward and protesting that Hawthorne should not have a penalty. And in the end, Moss lost out to Hawthorne by a point or two in the last race. And I mean, just imagine, I don't know, 2016, just imagine Rosberg coming into the steward's office protesting a penalty that Hamilton got.
Yeah, that wouldn't have happened. He'd be the first to say he had the penalty.
It's just so much of what it was, what F1 was and what it is now. And I saw a video a couple of days ago on YouTube when there was a guy who put modern graphics on the first ever Formula 1 race.
Oh god.
And they put Alex Jakes commentating it as well. And I really recommend watching it because it's some really good footage as well of the first race. You can see the cars and they race a bit and.
Didn't
you can't
the opposite of that recently. They did did the graphics through the years over a modern F1 race. I can't remember what it was. I remember seeing it the other day.
Well, that includes, go on, Clark.
I heard it on the new podcast as well, the official one from F1, F1
Yes,
Nation.
the last SidePod.
Not the
SLR
SidePod.
Best podcast.
We don't have Tom Clarkson and Alex Jakes running SLR SidePod, do we?
We don't need them. Why would we need them when we've got iCallum?
Callum and Steve-O.
Why would we need them when we've got iCallum and Steve-O, which is literally...
Dream team for the podcast.
Yeah. That's...
My point is that they're not very public names. Callum and Steve-O.
Oh, I don't know about that.
What do you mean?
No, I think.
You name a
Sorry,
driver.
Have you
take
know
that
I'm
back.
very
in this
popular.
league. Name a driver in this league who doesn't know Steve-O.
True. There's a lot that probably don't know me.
name-
Steve-O.
name-
Steve-O's a stretch.
name a driver outside this league who knows about him.
I don't know, previous drivers.
Or
name
everyone
loads.
in the stream.
I can name tons of previous drivers who know about Steve.
Yeah.
He's been here since day one of day one.
To be fair,
I
I
was
know
talking about
Steve
Steve to my
before I
friends.
did.
Yeah.
But he's
Well, technically.
The clock is the reason
All
most people
right, all
join
right.
the league.
Steve-o,
I know.
Talking about Steve-o.
You are, mate.
Do you remember your test? Just out of interest.
What, in Barcelona? Yeah. It was rubbish.
It was me and Cock.
It was like the
Me
worst
and Cock
time.
who
It was like
tested
the
you.
worst time. It probably was actually. Yeah, it was definitely you. Yeah, Clock was probably there actually, saying that. Yeah, I would have thought so. There you go, look.
Incredible scenes.
Well,
Yeah.
Ranga, I know you want to shag
Absolute
Steve, but we're not
Back,
here
when,
to talk
back
about
when
Steve,
Clock
are we?
tested. Back when Clock was testing. Sorry, never mind.
Well.
Just wanted to get that quick dig in. Considering I'm gonna be made a fool of. I just thought I'd quickly try and get that one in.
Alright, let's move on, lads. Let's get back to the topic at hand. So, of course, we're talking about classic drivers. One driver I think we can't not talk about while talking about classic drivers. Senna. Damn,
Oh god, we
completely
just
forgot his name.
jumped.
Yeah,
We just jumped
I don't
from the
care.
50s to the 80s. We just,
I was
we
gonna
just
say,
Hang
it's
on, we
great.
skipped like 2
we
decades.
just,
I
we just,
don't care.
we just
We need to
skipped
talk about Senna.
Fangio. You'd realise we just skipped Juan Manuel Fangio. We skipped Jim Clark. We skipped Jackie Stewart.
Yeah.
And do you know why I did that, Clock? Because I knew it would annoy you. Go ahead, mate. I'm joking.
Callum is
I mean-
master. I reckon let him roll with it.
I feel very.
Go on,
I feel
talk
hurt.
about
My,
the
my,
50s.
No, let's
my
go-
feelings
let's
are
talk about
so
Jackie
very
Stewart.
hurt.
Let's go on with the
Of course,
50s,
we don't
mate.
have to just talk about Jackie Stewart, the driver. We can talk about Jackie Stewart, the safety kind of the person that with him and Sid Watkins that made it safer and really worked towards that as well. So it's not just.
Yeah.
I mean, remarkable man. He's still going strong. Hell of a racer.
Yeah, he's. I've listened to the Beyond the Grid podcast with him. I think 3 times over the last year because I just enjoy the old drivers telling stories and everything about the old days. And he was asked once in that podcast to list his top 3 drivers. I don't remember 3rd place, but he said that the top 2 who's raced in F1 who are the best of all time is easily for him Fangio and Jim Clark.
Yeah.
And I mean that's must be saying something, but because it's coming from.
Don't rip.
The clock just died. Give the second one with the clock, actually.
Yikes.
Jesus, clock, man. Dies like this every week. Did he leave the party or something?
No,
No,
wait for
Keaton.
Clock.
Oh.
We can still speak a bit more about the safety work he did, and Sid Watkins, probably 2 of the most important people in F1, or to ever have been a part of F1 in the terms of bringing the sport from unsafe to safe, which is something that I think the danger of it. I mean, that's the thing is, I mean, you talk about older drivers, and you've got to speak about the bravery they had. You know, nowadays they get into a carbon fiber cockpit that's just solid, and yeah, of course it's dangerous, it's fast, and you know injuries can happen and that. But to what it was back in the decades, it was, you know, the risk. I mean, the bravery of the guys, just the love of the sport to risk their life every time they went out. You know, like Jackie Stewart's always been commented, like saying, like, you know, you'd lose, like, you know, 7-8 people a season, every season.
Yeah.
So, you know, remarkable feat of kind of adrenaline junkie to the extreme, really.
I mean,
And
in
that's
the
one
end,
of the sad things about this, yeah.
he's back.
he usually talks about
finally.
yeah, I realized my controller turned off, but I didn't realize until I had been sitting there speaking for myself for a couple of.
Oh,
so
oh
yeah.
my god.
Stuff that happens. But yeah, where were I? But Stewart, he also usually talks about the racing drive animal. Is it like a term he likes to use? And he says that doesn't exist anymore, and I can see what he means. I'll explain to you. It's that before they, when he raced, the deaths were so common. I mean, in the 70s, they at least they had seat belts. It's like in the 50s, it was safer to not have a seat belt, but in the 70s, seat belts were mandatory. But you still had a small little aluminium monocoque and two massive fuel tanks right next to you. I mean, whenever you crash, it was a massive risk of the car catching fire, just because there was so much fuel and so little protection. He's talked about it was in Monza. I don't know what year it was. It was when I think it must have been 1970 when Jochen Rindt died. If anyone of you recognize his name, he was also awarded the 1970 championship after his death, because he died, but he still won it. But yeah, he died in Monza, and then Stewart came round. He came into the pits, and Ken Tyrrell told him that okay, they've removed the debris. The track is ready. I know he's just died, but you gotta go out in the car and get ready for the race. And he went out and he set the fastest lap he's ever done around Monza. And that's what he means, is the racing driver, the animal. That, when you get in the car, you can just remove emotions.
Yeah.
And people were, of course, people were telling him it was a death wish. But he just said that he just removed his emotions and drove like he's always done, and it happened to be the fastest lap. But
it takes a special person to do that. I mean, it's special person. Yeah, I guess special person, but it's just such an incredible quality to have. I mean, I guess quality, human instinct, whatever you want to call it, to be able to understand or appreciate that someone who's in the same profession as you has just died, yet you've still got to go out there and deliver your absolute best, because that's your job. And then to be able to block out all of the stuff going on, obviously there must have been part of his brain. Obviously you might have described him as an animal, whatever you describe him as. There must be part of his brain, it must be physically impossible for his brain to not tell him to stop. It would just be like, right, that's enough. It's incredible.
I'll come on to that.
The biggest thing,
I've obviously told you what he said in the podcast, so I'm just retelling. But he, if you jump a few years forward, come to the whatever Grand Prix it was, but it was the last race of the season. It would have been 73 when he had 99 starts. It was the US Grand Prix of 1973. It would be his 100th start and the last race of the season. He had a teammate called Francois Sever, which I don't think any one of you would know about. If you do, I'm very impressed.
No,
can't say I do.
Nah, but he was regarded as one of the big names of the future. He was like Stewart was like Sever's teacher, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
His mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Like the old guy like teaching the younger guy.
Yeah.
So the younger guy can take over the team in the future. So they had a good connection, but then whatever it was in practice or in qualifying, Sever crashed massively, died on the spot. Stewart went past, and Stewart said himself in the pod that it was the worst sight he's ever seen in his whole life. And the broadcaster on TV didn't even know who it was. They said it was a blue car. So first of all, they said it was Stewart who crashed. So all his family members thought it was Stewart. But he came back. Obviously, he was well, and then right there on the spot, he decided that I don't want to do this anymore. I'm stopping.
Yeah.
This was the young lad.
So no, the young lad crashed. The young lad. Died.
The train, the
He
apprentice.
died. Oh, he died.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
Ah,
crashed.
okay.
He crashed and died. Stewart went past it. The incident. He saw it. He said that it was the worst sight he's ever seen in his whole life. There's probably a picture of it somewhere, but I don't think you want to see it because it's horrible. It really is horrible.
Yeah, probably not.
The car is like split in two. Anyway,
Ooh.
Right.
so he crashed. He died. Stewart, who was his mentor, he decided that the next day Stewart would do his 100th race. It was going to be the last race of the season, but Stewart decided that I'm out of here. I'm not gonna start my 100th race. I'm gonna
After he
stay
saw
on
that?
99. Yeah, he was like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna stay on 99 races. I'm not gonna
Wow.
race in Formula 1 again. And
Yeah.
he said as well that he'd never missed it either from walking away. He's never.
I mean, after seeing something like that, would you? I mean, I know some people can look at crashes and go, "All right, I'll just turn up tomorrow. I'll say some nice things and get on with my day." But that's more modern. Think about back in the day when people were like, "Well, this is a common occurrence, but it still doesn't take away." I don't see why nowadays people are less desensitized to the deaths because, of course, it's rarer, so it should be more impactful. I mean, look at Hubert's death. Well, yes, it was a very impactful death, and I do feel bad for his friends and family and everyone who knew him. I mean, to a lot of people, it didn't have as much impact as what some of the deaths of the yonder years did. Like Senna, a whole country stopped just to pay respect to him. If you know what I mean. So, yeah. Carry on, Croc.
Yeah, I found an article now on F1.com, and it's Jackie Stewart on Francois Savert, and it's a quote from Jackie Stewart saying that he said that I told him everything I ever knew and learned about Formula 1, so it was very much his. Yeah,
Successor.
Stewart was basically his
protege.
mentor, yeah, but I don't find the word. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's alright.
But what my point is that we talk about it would be horrible to see stuff like that. We also talked about previously how when Jochen Rindt died 3 years earlier, he instead went out and did the fastest lap he's ever done.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways to handle it. I suppose by 73 though he had his 3 championship, and
Well, you think family as well, the age he was.
yeah, he was.
You think the pressure on the families, watching them do it day in day out back then.
Yeah, I
Must
mean,
have
obviously,
been-
of course.
must have been so hard on that. You get to a certain
Of
age and
course.
see enough people die.
Yeah. And, back then everyone was friends as well. All the drivers, they traveled
Yeah.
with each other. They didn't have their own
Yeah.
private plane. They knew each other. I mean, the wives were the ones taking the times. They were like standing there with a stopwatch and
Yeah,
doing
so-
lap times. And that is actually ridiculous how that was even possible to let the wife of the driver do the lap time with a stopwatch and a notebook. I mean, I would have cheated a lot if I was a wife, or I don't know if that would have worked, but I will just take off a tenth of his lap time or something.
What? So you would have been someone's wife, Clock?
So
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I know
though.
what you mean,
You would,
yeah.
when you for a G up, you'd say, "Oh, better than you
Oh, he
did, I
was
suppose."
in so and so time. Like 3 seconds quicker.
so it wasn't just emotional for. I mean, coming back to Jochen Rindt, it wasn't just emotional for Stewart. I mean, they were really good friends. It was also emotional for his wife. He was a really good friend with Jochen's wife, and she was obviously distraught, of course, and they have to deal with tragedies like you don't see today. Like it's been Bianchi, of course, and it's been Hubert, and it's all horrible incidents, of course, but it's not what it once was, thankfully.
Oh, nowhere near. Nothing like it was.
We're looking at nowadays, course, we don't see like crashes like what usually happened. Even 10 years, not 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we were getting crashes that send likes of Massa to the hospital with concussion. After that, he lost his edge. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, that is one thing about F1 that I think they learn by every death or every serious injury, serious accident. I think it really pushes on safety and pushes on the boundaries of making them as safe as possible. It really pushes everything. I mean, like you said about that Massa, that really introduced the halo. You could just see it that happened, and they went, right, how can we stop this happening? And then to the drawing board. Obviously, it's going to take a few years to bring it into kind of to what we see now, but now it's just a part of the car now, and it's good how it's accepted, because that is first and foremost, you've got to be safe. I mean, you can't. No one should go to do a job and die. That's just, you wouldn't expect that of any sport or any person. So.
Well, just back to the Halo, Steve. If you remember the crash at Spa when Alonso went over the top of Leclerc.
That's exactly the wheel.
If that Halo wasn't
went
there,
across the Halo.
The Halo took a lot of damage, but if it wasn't there, I think we wouldn't have seen Leclerc on the grid last year. If I'm honest.
Probably not.
That Halo
I was going to say a similar thing to
Yeah, it absolutely.
Was almost the same in 2012, wasn't it? Remember how close Grosjean's car was to he could have just snapped Alonso's head off.
Oh, at Spa.
Yeah,
when Hamilton,
Hamilton
was involved in that, and Hamilton got out and was having to go at Grosjean.
Grosjean just goes into Hamilton and...
Yeah, it's stupid. Yeah, well, not really. Well, that was really in its crazy time, wasn't it?
I've just seen in the stream chat as well, Baggy Fan 1995 says he's been at one racing event where a racer passed away.
Oh no. Oh. That's not good.
And he said it was, of course, very traumatic and changed the atmosphere.
Traumatic, yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's all. You just don't expect it.
Shout out to Baggy Fan.
Of course.
No, he's a big fan. No, big fan. Big fan is a Baggy fan of the league. There's a group of them.
So moving on, to that. One of the most probably well known or most, I don't know what the word is really, but the biggest death is obviously who we mentioned earlier of Senna. We can move on to him now, but he lost his life doing it, and safety was really good in the 90s. It was definitely, they turned a corner with safety really from the 70s and 80s. 80s looking, but then we had Roland Ratzenberger in the practice, and then we had Senna in the race. But what a driver he was! If we're going to talk about classic drivers, I mean, speed, just all about speed.
One of the only people Prost really calls a rival. He's called a lot of people friends, but he's called Senna a rival to the point where he literally left a team just to get away from Senna, because of course they were always compared.
Let's just all remember that I have to mention this, that Prost and Senna obviously, or maybe not obviously, but they did made up as soon as Prost left F1. Because they were friends. I think that's a very important detail that a lot of people miss. That they were friends actually when in '94, and obviously if any one of you have you seen the Senna movie?
Yeah, I was going to say that.
It's a bit of a documentary as well, but it's a bit
really good. It's really well done, really well made.
Yeah, there's just one thing. Just one thing that I dislike about it is that they almost makes Prost a villain or some kind of bad guy. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're showing
They
all
kind
those
of-
clips of
But
him.
that's just movies.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
but they tried to make Prost the bad guy and make him look like, obviously they
Yeah.
bring up the fact that the FIA president is French, and then Prost is French, and then Senna gets disqualified in Japan in '89. I'm not saying that was correct, because I don't understand why he got disqualified, really. For anyone who doesn't know, it's when Prost and Senna had that legendary crash coming into the chicane. I'm sure even
Chicane,
Ranga
yeah.
must know about this. They both go straight on and they like stop. Prost retires. The marshals like push Senna to get going again. He obviously doesn't do the chicane because he's been stopped there for a very long time, and they just push him through, and then he gets disqualified for not making the chicane. So it's a ridiculous disqualification because he missed the chicane and gets disqualified from it.
It's a 3-second time penalty in F1 2019.
Exactly.
True.
But the movie liked to point out the fact that the FIA president was French and that Prost is French.
Yeah, sort of trying to put the blame on ties which weren't really there.
But let's appreciate Senna as a driver. Instead, he was. I'm sure all of you should remember something from that. Maybe not remember, because most of you weren't probably alive, but when he drove.
Oh,
but
definitely wasn't. That's
Oh,
from 2001.
maybe Steve-O, but
I was alive.
Yes.
Yeah, I was alive. I remember watching the race over up my uncle's away down towards London, and yeah, I remember it. Still remember it today. Really, I mean, I was 12 when Senna died. So there you go. But yeah, he was my era of when my dad got me into Formula One when I was 5, 6. 88. I was 6. That Monaco lap. I didn't understand it for what it was, but. Yeah, he was just a big name. He was F1. I mean, when I was, I was that young. Yeah, F1. If someone said to me, "Oh, what's F1?" That was the man. I mean, he was bigger than the sport in some respects. He was so iconic.
yeah, it's impossible to understand his status in Brazil.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said earlier, they stopped. A lot of people stopped what they were doing in Brazil, mourned for a few days.
Oh
Just
God,
because of how
the
much of
country
an impact
stopped.
he did have in Brazil.
Yeah, the whole country
It's
stopped.
a pretty big country as well.
Yeah, and it's a big
But
country.
the-
But yeah, he was massive. Oh, huge.
That country is a bit special though when it comes to sport. The things they do.
True.
Yeah.
The things they do when it's the World Cup, it's a bit ridiculous, but that's not
They're
When they lost
passionate.
to Germany, it was like
They're
a
passionate, aren't
Yeah,
they?
but
national.
they're more than passionate, Ranga.
And it's their bread. They
More
don't
than
know any
passionate.
other way. They don't know any other way. It's their bread and butter, isn't it? It is what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but have you heard the story about the goalkeeper in the? It was a goalkeeper. I don't remember what World Cup final it was, but he made like a mistake, so Brazil lost, and he's like, and he was in the 50s, and he still hated it all over the country.
Oh God.
And he was like gonna go and for the World Cup 4 years later, that goalkeeper made a mistake. He went to like Brazil's training camp, or whatever you call it, where they train before the World Cup, and he tried to just see his mates there. And then the coaches there and the guards were like, "No, you're not coming in. You made us lose the last World Cup. You're banned from here. You can't meet your old teammates. You're like a traitor of the country. You've lost us a World Cup." Everyone dislikes him. So they're a bit crazy, but Scott says he haven't watched Senna. I thought he was old enough. Maybe not.
What? Oh, Scott would have been. Scott's well old.
I think he
Scott's
means.
same age as
I think he means the film. I think he means the film.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Oh, you should watch it.
I did think,
Brilliant.
yeah, that's why.
It's really good.
Oh yeah, he added the movie now as well.
Can I just take a moment for what I'm watching the Wednesday race, of course, because that's what we stream. And I just watched Jam take out Ham.
No.
Excellent.
No.
That's what we
Yeah.
like to see. Brotherly love.
That's a bit of tension
Brotherly
going
love on
into
the
Sunday,
track.
isn't it?
Yeah. He's He hit.
That's it.
Like if
Even
you wanna
brothers,
watch me
when
and
as the
Barlow.
title comes to a close, even the rivalry between brothers gets heated.
Now Jam is on the back of Freeman and about to overtake him. After Ham had spent the last 3 laps trying to overtake Freeman, was on the verge of doing it. He got nearly
Still
got
ahead of
spun
me,
off. God.
Scott asks, what's
You're
the best
15.
F1 relayed movie? Relayed?
Rush.
Related,
I'll have to say
related
Rush.
movie.
Yeah.
Rush.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
He said related now. I was like, what? Is that something I don't know? What
related
does
to a movie?
relayed mean? I tried to.
There isn't. I mean, there isn't that many, is there? I mean, I think Rush is definitely as a blockbuster, as a actual movie.
Yeah.
But Senna and Rush are completely different because one's a movie about someone's life and one's actually a documentary or a docu-movie about someone's life. They're definitely portrayed completely different and they're different watches, but they're both just as equally good as each other, I think.
Yeah.
As entertainment, Rush is quality though.
Yeah.
Rush is probably too for me. I think.
In my opinion, I think Rush is better as well. I think Rush. I honestly think Rush is one of the best movies made. I think that is I think it's an absolutely brilliant movie.
When he gets in that car with that woman, and they've got them lads in the back, and they've go on, drive fast. And you just picture Nicky now and go, I'll show you how to drive.
And then she obviously their car breaks down at first, and she's like, she's like, oh, I'm a girl, I'll show you how to get a lift. So she goes out there with her thumb up in the air, and they just drive past, and then they see Lauda, so they just stamp on the brakes and just stops. And she's like, oh, look at me, I got a lift, and they just go right past her and go like,
but Lauda.
Yeah,
that's
now
it.
they go round past his girlfriend and they go hug Lauda. It's like, oh, it's Niki Lauda, he's just signed for Ferrari.
That shows you how mad Italians are about Ferrari drivers, though. Because Niki Lauda had much of a hand in the actual making of the movie, so a lot of it is true. Well, actually, all of it's true.
He said
Niki Lauda released.
But he said about the movie.
2013.
I'll go on clock. Go on.
He said in an interview it's 90% correct,
Oh,
or 80% or something. He said something like that. But maybe it was 80. I'm not sure, but it was a high percentage at least.
Yeah, he actually said as well. He actually said because obviously he was a big part of making it. But he said after watching the film, he didn't realise through the scenes where that they had to drain his lungs and stuff, and he was doing it, and he's like, do it now because he wanted to be back racing. And he said he didn't realise what a toll that would have taken on his family. He didn't realise until watching the film, till they showed it on the film, which I thought that's remarkable, really. That you get a filmmaker made about you, and you learn stuff about what happened. It must have been so strange for him to watch that film. Really.
Yeah, but I understand that those scenes are pretty. I don't know how to describe them really. I was 13 at the time when that movie came out, and I couldn't watch the scene in the hospital when they drained the lungs.
Of course, yeah.
That was quite.
Because I wanted to go to the cinema and watch the movie, but I wasn't allowed in because I was too young. So as soon as it came out, we bought it and I was gonna watch it. But when they come to that scene, I couldn't watch it. I had to look away.
But that just I mean how much of it's Hollywood
I was 13
and how much is true, but it's still the remarkable man. I mean, to go back to the Lauda, I mean, to have an injury like he had, to have life-changing injuries like he had, and still finish the season and almost win the championship. I mean you won't see the likes of. I mean, that's heroism, isn't it? Really, that's a hero to me.
And
to someone who does that.
Yeah. That really brings us into another. We talked about Stewart's heroic things, about interesting decision, heroic decision, whatever you want to describe it as. Walking away. Yeah. Here's one for you then, Ranga. If you go to Lauda in '76, him and Hunt, final race of the season, going out for the championship. They're in Japan. It's pouring down rain. It's so much rain. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They say that we can't race. It's not safe. Today they would have never raced. It was that much rain. But it was. The decision maker said that everyone want to see Hunt and Lauda fight. We're gonna race. We can't cancel it now. It's the championship decider. Lado did 2 laps and then he went into the pits. The mechanics come out to him, they say, what's wrong with the car? And Lado said, nothing, it's perfect. It's too dangerous, I'm not gonna race.
Yeah.
I mean,
and lost the championship.
Even after that injury, I don't think he had the. I can't say he didn't have the guts. I think if it was an okay race, I think he would have absolutely dominated and won. But of course, after that injury, I don't think he would have risked it.
No, he had some problems.
If he crashed again, he would have died. Yeah.
He had some problems with his eyes as well. It was like he had burned some things to do with it, with how the tears work. I don't know, so he couldn't like blink properly.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
so he couldn't blink. He couldn't like blink properly, so he ended up with like massive amounts of water in his eyes, which wasn't ideal. Yeah. Obviously.
And if you think about that, the fact that he then went on to race continuously until what, 86, I think it was 86, something like that, and he won another championship, beating Prost. And just thinking about that, it's just amazing with lasting injuries, and the fact that he lived to 70 is amazing.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. Borrowed time. He was on borrowed time from that crash, really.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you haven't seen the film, watch the film, because the way they play the crash as well. And if you have a look, I've watched the YouTube clips of the actual race footage, and they've got it so accurately, but obviously so kind of realistic as well. It's awesome. Brilliant bit of, I don't know what the word is, cinematography. Cinematography, yeah, something like that. But yeah, it's great. It really is. Yeah. So if anyone who's listening hasn't watched it, get and watch it, because it's brilliant. That's our video. We should start doing film of the week, shouldn't we? That's our film of the week.
Also, it's pretty amazing, or maybe not amazing, but it's pretty extraordinary, isn't it, that he actually caught that crash on footage, on live footage. And there's pretty decent video of it.
Yeah.
I mean, at that track, surely they didn't have cameras in every corner.
Well, we've just uncovered a conspiracy there, that they were planning it, they'd put a camera ready now.
I think that's one of the most ridiculous conspiracies I've ever heard.
Well, Clock, thank you for all the classic knowledge, but I am afraid we will have to move on now to the quiz for more questionable knowledge. So,
questionable questions. You're going to say questionable questions.
Yeah, I sort of had a stroke in my head trying to think of what to say that didn't sound stupid.
That's brilliant. Questionable questions.
Yeah, obviously, as always,
from time to time, don't worry.
We want the viewers in the stream chat to help Ranga and the boys with the questions. I hope I said chat correct this week.
No.
Process of typing in Nicky Lauda Wikipedia.
No, if you do that, you're a cheater. We don't want that.
You're a cheater.
No, exactly. We don't need
You're
that.
a cheater.
Cheater. All my.
Yeah, you said cheater.
I do love the way you take the mick out of Clock for how he speaks. Yeah, I bet he speaks English better than you speak Swedish. So perhaps give him a bit of credit.
Next week,
but I don't try to speak.
I think that's the next. That's the next SidePOD topic: Swedish lessons with Clock.
Learn
I know how to say.
There's only
how to
3.
say Clock's name in short, and I know how to say yes.
Lud.
You know my nickname. That's what my name is. Also my nickname.
I know how you say yes.
SLR.
So I don't even say like he'll be on the mic and like someone will say something to him and he'll just go it sounds like an owl. It sounds like some sort of bird.
Well,
all right, let's go.
I'll tell you why. To say yes in Swedish is ja, J-A. That's how it's spelled. Ja. But we're too late.
Hang on, you
to say
spell
yaw.
it. Hang on, you spell it J-A. You say it yaw. How does that work?
Yaw.
Yaw.
Would it be Ja?
Because
Yeah.
A is.
That would be ja.
A.
Ja.
No.
Ja.
What a tangent.
J
we've
is
gone on.
J. J in
Oh,
Swedish
God.
is J.
E.
J. That's J in Swedish. So you can laugh all you want, but it's true. Fuck you.
No, Clark. I
Don't
was just
mock
thinking
my
about how do you spell
country.
yeet in Swedish.
But you,
'Cause
there's
it'd
no
just,
word.
It'd just be
there's-
JT. Yeet.
There's no word for yeet. But anyway, so instead of saying yaw, we're just too lazy. We just remove the J and we just say ah.
Ah.
It's a bit
So
lazy.
that's it's very lazy, but it's what we do when we speak. I'm sure
Well,
you
Clark, do
have
the
some-
quiz. Stop
some
talking about
flying, yeah.
Swedish.
Yeah, it's not. Well, to be fair, everyone keeps correcting me all the time, especially for my race reports.
Oh yeah, you
Take
put,
the
what
mock,
did you put
take
in
the
race
mock out
report
of
this
me and
week?
my spelling.
Take the mock out.
Was it you
Take
put
the
Trump.
mock.
He did
Take
put
the mock.
Re-evaluation.
Just start
brilliant.
again. I
That
tried to
yells.
speak and I'll just
Take
be
the
quiet.
mock out of him.
Do you like
Sorry,
to
I'll
free
stop
their,
taking the mock out of you.
Clark?
Sorry.
Oh, fuck off.
Okay, everyone stop.
can't
Let's
be
get on with
honest.
the quiz.
I
ten-
can't be asked
We've got 10
anymore.
minutes left just to do the quiz. Let's come on. Let's keep the ball moving.
This really
We
is
keep
great
losing
content.
Time limit.
World class content. This is.
I really hope we have lots of viewers now with all this.
No, we lost viewers during that.
I
We
mean,
went
it's
from
Imagine-
10 to 6.
That's a joke. Imagine not wanting to listen
Oh.
to that.
Oh god. Oh well. We'll
on,
we'll
Clark.
start off with Lauda then. Can anyone tell me how many wins he got over his career?
Ooh,
Oh no.
25.
23.
40? No, it's 20.
15.
5.
23.
22.
Steve was correct the first guess he did.
25.
Oh,
Yeah.
25.
Oh, I'll take my
nice
guess.
round numbers.
Yeah, that was a good guess.
Very good
After I
guess.
said it, Rich. That's good. That's good. I gave you.
It was exactly the same time.
Time.
It was the same time.
You heard what I
I
said.
didn't even
Oh, that's
say.
good, mate.
I didn't even
No,
say
well
the
done,
right
mate.
number as you. Shut up.
If I said 50, you would have said 47.
If I'd said the right number, then maybe you could have had an argument. But you didn't even say the right number, so shut up. Shut up.
Oh my god, just get on with the quiz,
Someone's
Clark,
offended
quickly.
now. Obviously we've been talking about Lauda and his crash. He came back for the Italian Grand Prix. Where did he finish in that race?
Second.
His
Alright,
his
I'll go
first
third.
race
Eighth.
after crashing.
Eighth.
Second.
No, 10th. 10th.
None of you are
Watched
correct.
Rush before, I think.
Third.
He started fifth.
He won.
Oh,
He did not
No,
win.
got
he wouldn't have
fourth,
won, would
did
It
he?
was in Monza. He was in the
Did
Ferrari.
he finish? Did he
He
retire?
did finish.
He came
He did
third.
finish. Nah, he wasn't third either.
No, he came
Second.
Alright,
fourth.
first.
No.
Go on then.
There's a
25th. No,
pretty prolonged scene about this in Rush.
Oh yeah,
This is
but
the
it's
scene
been
where he
a
starts
long
dropping
time
back,
since I've
isn't
seen
it?
He finished
Did he
fourth.
finish 9th?
He finished fourth.
I said 4th.
You didn't say fourth.
Yes,
Oh,
I
Clark,
did.
maybe
I,
I-
feel, Clark,
oh, maybe-
I really feel like you built that up a little bit too much for that answer, really.
Yeah. Clark.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wait,
Well, it was. I mean, I didn't build it up too much because if you take into consideration what he had been through.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Stated
I
he
mean, his
wasn't-
hands were still burned.
and-
His hands were still
yeah,
burned. He,
he-
couldn't put
he-
his gloves
he
on
had-
properly.
He had blood like pouring down his head during the race inside the helmet because his wounds weren't healed properly. But then,
Yeah,
you know, the
remarkable.
doctors said that
man.
you should not race, do not race, but he was like, I have to race, I can lose the championship. So even
Yeah.
if
Did
he,
he-
wasn't in the top
But
three,
did he
was
actually
still
win? Did he
very
win the
remarkable.
championship that year?
gosh.
No, he lost. He lost it in the last
Okay.
race.
Okay. That's gutting. That would have been
Ranga,
pretty heroic if he
that,
had.
Close.
that
I
was
mean, it was
the
pretty
year,
heroic anyway, but
Ranga, I just told you the story before. That was the year when he pulled into the pits in the last race and retired
oh yeah, no, I get it.
because it was too unsafe. That was
There's just
that
a lot
year.
of dates and facts flying around for a bit of an F1 noob, so you're just gonna have to bear with me on that.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll just remind you then. But the first time he retired, obviously he retired twice from F1. The first time he retired, he went out to start a flight company.
Oh yeah.
Can
That's
anyone,
right. Louder.
can anyone? Oh, Lauder. Yeah, that was the question. What was it called? And you just
Sorry.
you smashed it before I asked it. That's
Sorry,
It
mate.
was
new
called,
record, I think. And
what was it called again? Louder
Louder
Air or
Air.
something. Yeah,
Well done,
there
mate.
you go.
Hey, Rich, well done, mate. No, good answer.
I know a little bit about that. I like planes.
That makes it kind of sound simple, mate. I
Yeah, there
like
you go.
planes.
I like planes. There you go.
And of course, he was non-executive chairman in Mercedes. Before that, though,
Yep.
almost 10 years before that, he was team principal for another team. What team?
Oh my word, Tyrrell.
Was it Bennett?
Minardi?
Like that.
I don't know. How many years before? Hang on, how many years before did you say? 10?
He
What would you say?
roughly 10. It was in
Go on, what was the
2001.
year?
I'm not sure when he was appointed.
McLaren?
I'm not sure when he was
Oh,
appointed
man.
at
Oh,
Mercedes,
God,
if it was
2001.
2012 or whenever it was. He also said that he also said during when he was team principal that that was, obviously in there when they had traction control and ABS and stuff before it was banned, and he said that put a monkey in the car and he would drive it as fast.
Mhm.
So he didn't really like all the driver assists.
He
Yeah.
definitely wasn't at Williams.
Oh,
Back to the past.
oh my word, 2001.
That team were founded in 1997 by Jackie Stewart. It was called
By
Stewart
Jackie
Grand
Stewart,
Prix
Stewart.
between. It was called
Yeah.
Stewart
Yeah.
Grand Prix between.
Yeah, Jackie
You're right.
yeah,
Say
Stewart.
it.
It was
was him
called
and someone
Stewart
else.
Grand.
Someone was gonna say it.
It was called
You get on with it, Clark.
Stewart Grand Prix between 97 and 99. Then it changed its name for the 2000 season.
Jaguar.
Jaguar. Well done, Callum.
Oh, well done. Well done, Callum. Yeah, cool, Jack.
And I want to go to England
I'm
now
so
and
sorry.
just
Stop
off
laughing.
Rangus.
Shut up, Owen.
I feel like killing Ranga today.
Go on, Clark. go on.
If Beast is
Bless.
in the lead on Friday, I'm gonna bin Ranga instead of finishing. Final question then. Name all the 5 teams he raced for.
Oh, you've
Ferrari.
got to be-
Yeah,
Ferrari.
Ferrari's the obvious one.
The hard
McLaren.
one, McLaren. The 2 hard ones is out of the way.
BRM?
Mercedes.
BRM, well done. BRM.
Yeah.
Ranga.
Um,
Don't say Mercedes.
Why
Tyrrell.
not? What's wrong with
Well, that would be
Mercedes?
around.
Because Mercedes pulled out of F1 in the 50s and didn't come back until 2010.
Okay, I just didn't know that.
You know it. You
Well,
know it
now
now,
you
mate. You take that into the future.
Oh god.
Right, go through it, right?
Sure, I ain't got a clue. I only knew Ferrari and McLaren really.
Did he race for Brabham at one point?
He did race for Brabham, the famous fan car in '78.
Whoa.
Won the Swedish Grand Prix,
Oh
by the
yeah,
way.
that's yeah.
Well, what else we got?
Oh,
then?
there's one more. What was the last one? We've got BRM, McLaren, Ferrari, and Brabham. Oh.
It's his first
didn't-
car left.
Force India.
But
I hate you, Ranga. Oh god.
I don't know, is it a well-known one, Clock, or is it an obscure
I mean,
one?
in the '70s it was quite known, but now
Yeah.
I'm not sure even what's happened with it. I'm not sure if it's
Was it what
if
Steve
it was
said? Tyrrell?
rebranded or. Nah, it's
I
not
did say
Tyrrell.
Tyrrell, but
We're gonna have a look if it
Oh,
was
God.
rebranded into anything or if it was.
yeah. See if it's still the same team.
Because a lot of teams gets rebranded, of course.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a lot
Um,
of teams that have got bought out.
It had
bought out and bought
that
out and bought out.
name. Nah, it
What year
it
was
wasn't rebranded. It was Leighton House in 1990 and 1991. But otherwise,
Oh,
it's
God.
kept the.
What's it called?
Owen, any ideas?
Oh, I've lost. I was at lost cause a long time ago.
Owen switched off. Owen's not playing anymore.
Yeah,
Owen's
all I
gone.
knew was Ferrari, and that's about it.
His teammate that year in 1972 was Ronnie Peterson as well. Just like to add that. He had a Swedish
Gotta
teammate.
add that in. Gotta add that in, mate.
Oh god, who was it? Come on, remember Rush. Remember Rush.
I don't know. Go on, Clark.
Which
No
team
one's
was
gonna
his
get
first
it, mate.
team?
No one's gonna get it.
It starts with an M.
Was it?
McLaren.
God.
Oh,
Minardi.
McLaren.
Marusa.
oh shit.
Um.
Oh, it's not Mana.
No.
Well, I probably had a Ford engine.
Manor?
They were quite prominent back in them days, wasn't it?
Manor. That's a worse shout than Force India.
In 72 they had a Cosworth engine.
Oh,
Yeah, that's not gonna help.
Was
go
it
on, Clark.
Jaguar?
Put us out of our misery. What, beginning with them?
March.
I
was
forgot about
March.
Oh.
Okay.
March. What
yeah,
was
no,
this
I wouldn't
against
have got
that?
that to be fair.
Not
March.
March. March. I didn't say wrong
thought
there.
they-
It's just your ears is faulting now.
Clock, I thought they went down
Marcher.
in 71.
Marcher.
Yeah, March.
He was
Like
in
the month.
71 as well, but he only
Right.
did like one race in 71 or something, or two races.
Uh,
But he raced for them. He raced for them in 72. So
Ah, fair enough. Oh, that was a good question, Clock.
Yeah.
Great
that's
question.
Right. Good quiz.
Great
We got
question.
4 out of the 5, so.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ranga with
yeah,
his
we did right on that
Mercedes.
And it was
Mercedes
a good
and Force
shout.
India.
Yeah, that was a good shout. Both of them.
Well, like,
Oh,
I,
well,
I went Mana for some reason.
Credit
Go on,
where
Clock.
credit's due.
I'll let you take over now, Callum. That's all I had for today.
That is all you had for today. Oh, fair enough.
I look forward to bringing some hard questions next week.
We look forward to it. Damn, I just went up the screen I was trying to use as a background.
What else we got in the cards?
Usually, we have Driver of the Week,
Which is Gareth.
but
Steve can speak for
which,
Gar.
which we,
I can speak to Gareth if you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, bud. That was my Welsh accent.
Oh,
It's not like
God.
that, is it?
Yeah. Actually, it wasn't.
That was a
It wasn't. It wasn't.
massive
It wasn't
It was
that
not
bad.
bad.
I mean, did you finish that race, Steve?
Yeah, of course I did. Where did I finish out? I don't know where I finished now. No, I did finish, didn't I? I finished out the... Oh,
He was in a-
yeah, I finished
Well, you can
9th,
start
and then
where it began.
penalties got put me back down to 11th or 12th.
He was in a really
That's
good
right.
position for a while until
Yeah, until they give me a bloody... What do they give me? A
until he
10
hit
second
Lewis
time penalty.
under the back of in
the
the back
safety
under the
car.
safety car.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
That's when it started to
that
unravel.
was my downfall. And
That's when
actually,
it was,
I let Gareth. Actually, I let Gareth past. Because and that's what helped him get second place. So I think, yeah, he owes it me really. That driver of the day, driver of the week. So I'll take the credit for it. Thanks,
You
Chris.
gotta
Thanks a lot.
Weekend
Yep.
started. And,
You gotta have to appreciate
didn't
each other
qualify
now,
me.
Steve-O. I'm gonna have to appreciate us, the McLaren boys from the constructors' winnings from last season. We're not gonna be in the car next season. It's very sad.
No, well, no, we might get chosen into the car though. You never know.
Oh, it's very unlikely that I'll be picked for a draw. Ranga's probably gonna rig it so he gets in a
Yeah.
Mercedes and I get in a Williams
course.
or something.
That would be lovely, but
I just wanna quickly. We've made it rig-proof, if that makes sense.
I think
Unlock
we'll
me
be.
again.
What we'll do is we'll. I think we were talking about it earlier. We were talking about how we're going to be running the podcast in the coming weeks when we're in the off season. Obviously, some of it's going to be turned into. It will make up part of the end of season awards
Party.
night, end of season stream with the lads, and then
So it's-
it'll make up the driver draw, the new game.
Yeah.
I guess I'm
There
Mara.
might-
I guess you Mara's job.
There might
I've
be-
already requested that one.
You
might-
are very
there
proud
might
of that,
be,
aren't you?
Yeah, 'cause I always used to listen to it. I always used to think I could do a job in that, so I'm doing it. As soon as Mara left, I was like, right, Rich, can I do that this year? I wasn't even a league owner then. I was like, Rich, can I do that this year? I've had my eye on that job for 3 seasons.
It might be an interesting time in terms of what the podcast does. If that makes sense. Obviously, we'll still have the podcast, and we'll still be having some sort of shows like this. But I think when it comes to
more end of season based.
Yeah, we'll try and make it a bit more.
I think it'd be nice to get a few people in that's not.
I was planning on getting all the champions in for the end of the year.
Yeah, we need to do that. Definitely, that's
a lot of
big
show.
We got a new one, didn't we, on Sunday?
Yes.
We got 2. We got the
constructors. Yeah.
Racing Point boys won the
Constructors and did too.
Won the constructors, didn't they? So that was put over the social media this week, as was Zenon's win. So congratulations to all of those guys. I think there's there's definitely 2 championships up for grabs this week, as Clock knows full well about.
Both the Div 1 ones are still.
Both Div 1 still up. Yeah. If the joint constructors tournament that'll be down to the last weekend because of the big total of points. But I think the Div 1 the Div 1 constructors can be won this week. I think, as probably can Div 3. But I'm not certain. But the drivers, the league, I hope a lot doesn't happen.
All the drivers' championships can be won this week as well.
I hope it all goes down to
Div 3's already won.
The drama.
All the remaining.
But
the
situation about the drivers is on the race report, so you just have to look to get the full picture of what's
Took my
needed.
job away from me. Gutted.
What's needed from me and
why it
what's
took so
needed
long.
from Ham Jam to keep the title fight alive. My offer still stands that I tried to do for weeks now. If someone would like to take Beast out, but no one ever does. Got to no one.
Just for the people in the party who are in the social chat on Facebook, go look at what Scott's put on the social chat. This is still on the
about
stream,
me?
but
Is it about
no,
me?
it's about what rank. I think it's about Rankus.
We should invite you to after the stream. Then we're gonna have a what's on about.
Alright, so
we should get Scott in here, but he can't talk. He's still got no voice.
Alright, I'm gonna end the stream there.
It's a shame.
Thank you
It's a shame
everyone
we're
for...
not